Hey, Claude Mythos is coming. Claude Opus 4.8 just released last week. So we're going to dive into the good, the bad, the ugly. I made a little slideshow to go for the full breakdown. Yeah, let's get started. So, and this is kind of the short and sweet version that I made. Fewer mistakes, more honesty. Stop bad guesswork. 4x fewer code bugs. Yeah, I'm still running into a few AI, kind of guessing what they think that what you're trying to achieve versus what you're actually trying to achieve. A lot more few bugs. I've noticed this using it, meaning it can go in a tangent of just random. I'm asking for a basic PowerShell console, and I can be sitting there for 5 minutes and it's just processing. The smart workflows. This is the dynamic workflow they're actually releasing with the Opus 4.8. So the long story short is one manager and hundreds of workers. So it's more like a super smart, I guess a sub agent team type of scenario or type of structure. Yeah. So we have the AI manager, massive complex project, run sub agents. So I already use this. So the problem is like I have an agent team and I assign so my AI manager is the command, and then the sub agents are like the workers that are in it. So I'm not sure. I need to test the AI manager versus the sub agents. So verifies everything. My AI manager, I pretty much had given full autonomous permission, obviously within the scope of the project, to test everything, to validate all results. And on this one, there's a trick, because usually, how when you go into Cloud Code and you have the plan mode, sometimes it asks you questions before you proceed. And I actually kind of have that built into the AI manager, as I have it in a loop where it's once the workers come back with a project update, the manager looks over, sends it back, reviews it, rinse and repeat. So instead of the AI manager coming to you for every small changes and update, it just gets tedious and it burns tokens, where the AI manager, or command in my case, essentially cuts the small processes and kind of lets it do itself. You control the effort. So low effort, high effort, extra, max settings. So these are just the different I guess the different not the differences, but the small changes between Opus 4.8 and Opus 4.7. So nothing too insane. It's just a little bit better percentage across the board. And we'll go into the numbers here after this slide here. What the experts say. So they actually have from the slide from their presentation, I saw they have the like Shopify testing, something like that. So yeah. So they have the different organizations where they tested the results. So Super Agent Test tested model's ability to run complete long workflow without breaking. Only a model to score 100%. Databricks used for deep data analysis, complex reports, analyzing charts. 61% cheaper token usage. I'm not sure if this token usage has anything to do with the double daily, but not the weekly. Legal tech teams review massive volume of legal files to catch contract errors. Highest score ever seen. Yeah, this one always. This one's also a kicker. I think there's like a judge, pretty much, was was telling one of the lawyers, because somehow somehow the lawyer was using AI models to create fake cases. Yeah. Coding agent. I'm not sure what Devin coding agent is. Used for automatic unattended programming and software fixes. Unattended and flawless. So, yeah. Wide-scale agent navigation. So here's a little neat chart. I actually didn't know that GPT 4.55 is better than Opus 4.7. So wide-scale agent navigation. So this is for autonomous web tasks and complex multi-tool navigation, outperforming previous standard on the online Line 2 web benchmark. So be careful with this one because they are changing the. It might. I'm still new to this, so don't quote me. I do know that they're changing very soon with the agent SDK and the P models. So I don't know if this has anything to do with the web navigation accuracy. Yeah, because it's essentially it's a workaround where now they're essentially, depending on the price model you're paying for, you're either paying the $20, the $100, or the $200 price plan, and that's how much, I guess, tokens or credits you have to burn for an API. Because back then you could essentially use a third party software to bypass the credit and get unlimited API integration. So developer tools made easier, updating mid-flight. Yep, imagine a captain changing GPS direction mid-trip without restarting the flight. Developer can now inject new system instructions in the middle of a new chat without clear memory. This is really tricky because a lot of people don't know, including myself. I'm a terrible example, but for me, I feel like I just go down the thread. I'm 15, 20, 30 messages into the same thread, and I don't know when to cut off because I want to finish that thought before I move onto a new thread. But yeah, so imagine the captain changing GPS direction mid-trip without restarting the flight. So it's really hard because this one essentially is like, because it already has the memory, the intent, what you're trying to do. And sometimes, in my opinion, sometimes it's better to start new than continue or change mid-course. So time after time, and this is on Claude code. Time after time, I'm sitting there arguing with it actually, and yeah. Cheaper prompt caching. Claude stores your repeated prompt inside its memory. The limit has been slashed to 1,024 tokens, meaning even shorter, simpler developer tool gets immediate, massive cost cuts. So pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Let's go view the thing. There we go. So introducing Claude 4.7, 4.8. Yep. Everything's better. Capabilities. This is for the juicy part. So I don't know. Okay, so this is what they're talking about. Where's the other one? There's the web part where GPT-5 was better than Opus 7, but that's actually crazy, the agentic terminal coding. So I mostly use the Opus CLI, the Claude Code CLI on the desktop app, but I need to start using the terminal side of things. But that's crazy how GPT is significantly better than Opus 4.7. So I don't know if agentic terminal coding is the same thing as, I don't know, I need to do more research on that. I don't know if it's the same thing as Claude coding terminal interface, or, yeah. Okay. But Opus 4.7 is, Opus 4.7 or 4.8, but 4.7 is pretty much better than everything on this side, except the bottom two, the knowledge work and the financial, and yeah. agentic financial analysis, knowledge work. Yeah, interesting. Okay, moving on. Collaborating with 4.8. I keep saying 4.7. Early testers have found 4.8 to be more reliable and sharper in its judgment. Shopify, staff engineer, notably better judgment. It asks the right questions, caches. So the problem with Claude Code is it asks the right questions, caches, it catches its own mistakes. English is hard. It's late tonight. Pushes back when plan isn't sound. The problem is you have to ask it to do that. It won't just do it, and sometimes it will assume what you typed is what you wanted, and without proper parameters and framing, it's completely off. So, does have confidence around complex multi-service. Yep. But yeah, once you actually tell it, when you know the specifics, it does a pretty good job. I don't know who this is actually. NRC Region Benchmark Cloud is the only model to complete every case end to end, beating prior Opus models and ChatGPT and GPT-5.5 at parity on cost for agent product and translation, deep research, slide building, and analysis. It delivers properly. Yeah, I don't know who that is. So, blah blah blah. Nothing relevant. Misaligned behavior. Yeah, don't look at that one yet. No idea what that means. Also launching today. Yeah, dynamic workflow. We just mentioned that. Claude can plan the work, then run hundreds. Be careful with this, because a lot of people don't realize. So I don't think agents actually uses any, or no, they use tokens, but they use preset tokens. But I think Claude Cowork can burn a lot of tokens because of its built-in MCPs and connectors. So yeah, be careful when you do this, because depending on what the project is, if Claude were to kick off hundreds of sub-agents, you can't burn tokens out. Ideally, it would fairly fast, so be mindful of that. Claude Code with Opus 8 can now carry out code-based scale migration across hundreds of thousands of lines of code and kick off to merge. So, yeah. Available in enterprise teams and max plans. Oh. Wait. Does that mean dynamic workflow isn't available for pro users? We'll come back to that. Effort control in Claude AI and Cowork. Okay. So this is pretty much like it tells you how to choose a model from. Yeah. Do you want to use Haiku, Sonnet, Opus, blah blah blah. The message API now accepts system entries inside the message. Mid-tasking without breaking the prompt cache. Again, I would start new. Yeah. Note on effort, we judge the best overall. What's next? Yep. Availability. Regular $5 per million input token, 25 per million output token pricing. Yep. So there is one significant there it is. What's next? So this is the big part. Users will find Opus 4.8 to be the modest but tangible improvement on its predecessor. There's still more to be done. We're working on developing and releasing models that provide many of the same capability as Opus at a lower cost. So, yeah. All right. Not only that, we're planning to release a new class of models with even higher intelligence than Opus. Mythos. Welcome to Mythos. As part of Project Glasswing, a small number of organizations are currently using Claude Mythos preview for cybersecurity work. So the problem is that Mythos is so powerful that they essentially have to give it to a small group for testing because they know once everybody else has Mythos access, there's going to be bad actors trying to break into places. So what I think Claude did is they gave it to some, certain enterprise companies like Microsoft, like Amazon, maybe, and for them to kind of patch their security or strengthen their security posture before everybody and their grandma, gets access to Mythos and starts breaking into Microsoft and Amazon and companies alike. Models of this capability level require strong cyber safeguards before they can be generally released. So yeah, we're making swift progress on developing these safeguards and expect to be able to bring Mythos class models to all our customers in the coming weeks. So yeah, Project Glasswing, pretty cool. Let's go to, I want to read this because I want to know who gets this. Yeah, I don't really care who getting started. You know what? Let's fire it up. Don't mind my sessions here. Try now. I'll do that later. Don't really care for that. For Opus 4.8 update regarding the dynamic workflow. Is that on the dynamic? Is that available? Don't mind my English. For Claude Pro users. Let's see what it says. Ada is my personal assistant, so no. Wow. Oh, well, that doesn't make any sense. Weekend on Pro, the effort control slide next to the model selector. So that just tells me which model I'm using. Effort, maybe. Short answer: no. Dynamic workflow is not available on Pro. Dynamic workflow is available on Enterprise Teams and Macs only. Pro isn't on that list. Yeah. Well, you do get on the Pro. I don't care. Dynamic workflow is Claude Code feature anyway. It lets Claude plans a large job. It spends hundreds for yep. Not the Claude interface. Much see looking to great teams. Wow. Good to know. I didn't know Claude Dynamic Workflow is not available. But I guess, yeah, they're just making the Pro plan just, I don't know. Sometimes it's, they don't, yeah, it's hard to promote them. They've done so many right things, with increasing usage. Cloud Code is amazing, but with things like this and potentially removing SDK and P model API things, I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up. That's the Opus 4.8 update. Yeah, I'm in the coming days. I'm gonna be creating more projects. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to, like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. I got a family to feed. Please. Okay, bye.